This is the first item I've made on my new to me Moriseki lathe. It's a mandrel for balancing my grinding wheels for the new to me Blohm Simplex 7. So I'll go through a little bit of how I did it, some video. But basically, I turned it between centers because I needed it to be very concentric so it didn't go up and down or anything. I had to swap it from end to end to machine both ends. And then the tricky part is these mandrels are tapered in here, and they have a tapered flange about a ½ inch, and then there's a recess, and then another tapered flange that's about a ½ inch, and then it's straight. So I had to get that taper on here, and the only way I could figure it out was I just had to get some inside gauges and measure the actual diameters inside this mandrel, and then calculate what kind of taper. And this turned out to be, it's like 1.42 inches long, and it starts out at 1.42 inches and goes to 1.17. So I'll show this in the video. What I did is I set up my cross slide, the compound slide, at an angle 4 degrees. I calculated it should be 4.8 degrees. So I started at 4 and I started cutting it because I figure if I get it too shallow, I could always cut it steeper. Anyway, I cut it some at 4 and then test fit it and found out I needed more than 4, and then I went to 4.8, test fit it. I was getting pretty good contact, and then I went to about 5.1, and then it fit really good. I also found that no two of these mandrels fit this mandrel quite the same. They all have a little bit of difference of where they contact, but I blued this up, I put it in the mandrel, rotate it, see where it's hitting, and I got really good contact here. So anyway, at least it works now, and I can balance these wheels and figure I can safely run my grinder. So I'll cut over to the video and show some of the machining. Oh, one thing you may not notice on when I'm machining it, once I machined one side, I put some copper shim stock underneath the lathe dog so that I didn't mar up this side too bad. But anyway, it turns really nice. When I put you'll see the wheel on it, rolls really good. There's no up and down motion. So I'm happy with the way it came out. Not real happy with the Moriseki lathe, in that it needs a bit of work to get adjusted properly. I found that the tailstock was off center by 6 thousandths, which is huge. I don't know how anyone could have been using it. You know, when I turned my first shaft, when I turned the shaft to full length, I had 5 thousandths taper in a 12-inch shaft. So that's a lot. So that took an hour or two of adjusting that to where I got down to about a ½ thou. The rest of it could be, you know, up and down. You know, I'd get it to where it'd be a ½ thou one way. I'd try and take the last ½ thou out, and it'd be on the other side. So I'm guessing my ½ thou is probably in the vertical. The gibs need to be adjusted. probably should be scraped. I know it should be scraped because it's tight in some spots. Some of the controls don't quite seem to be working right. I don't know if that's me or there's a change gear that's not installed or something. But I can't seem to get the threads that it says I should. Anyway, more things to play with and work on. So, to the rest of the video. So I set the compound at 4 degrees, which is what I calculated. And I'm going to give it a try and see if I can get the taper to match. I can't film cutting it and turn the handle at the same time, so you just have to believe me. Okay, so you can see this. I blew this up, put it in the mandrel, and you can see it's rubbing from here to here, and then it's rubbing a lot right there. So I'm really close on the angle. I'm going to increase the angle. Right now I am at, let's see here, almost 5 degrees. I'm going to go about another 1/4 degree and see if I can get a little better contact. Right now it's pretty tight. Okay, you can see this one is really even across the entire bearing surface, and there's a gap in the bearing, or the hub there, the mandrel, and then over here it's rubbing all the way across. I believe I have the angle correct, so I'm going to go ahead now and turn the entire taper. Turns really easy. See if this one's balanced. Okay, stop with the stop right there. Did want to turn backwards a little. Seems like the high spots or heavy spots right in there somewhere. Boy, it's not out by much. Yep, seems like the heavy spot's right in there.